You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the Corfit Hiring System, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a Titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. Welcome to another episode of Titans of the Trades. I am your host, Ryan England. And on today's episode, I sit down with the CEO of RoMac Building Supply. They are one of the largest, if not the largest building supplier in Florida. And the size of the company and the growth that they've had and the things that they're doing in the community are just inspiring. I'm going to talk to Don today about the things that they are doing in the community, how they are partnering with local schools and bringing up the next generation of construction workers. I want to welcome to today's show, Don Magruder. Hey, Don, welcome to the show.
But glad to be here, Ryan. We're looking forward to it. We always look for an opportunity to talk about our business and what we're doing down here in Florida.
Oh, and I cannot wait to hear more and share it with our listeners. So tell me just a little bit what it is that you do and how you got started, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, Ryan, I'm in my 44th year in the building supply industry. I started in South Mississippi with a company called More Handling Home Crafters. I got married right out of high school and went to junior college, and I decided, well, I'm going to take the path of working up through the ranks, and started with a company. Within a year or so, I was promoted to their management program. Stayed there at More Handling for about 5 years. Then I went to a company called Wicks Lumber, which back in the day was one of the national leaders. Spent about 12 and a half, 13 years with those guys, went up through their management program and ran operations in Fort Walton Beach and Pascagoula, Mississippi. And then I got recruited in 97 by RoMac Building Supply, a Florida-based company. It's about 45 miles northwest of Orlando. And it's a company that was transitioning from the past to the future. The company had struggled with finding its feet and getting underneath everything. And I saw it was an opportunity to grow a company and be successful. We've been very fortunate over the last 27 years or so. Company, when I got here, we had probably 76 to 80 people. We now have 623 instead of once. We had 2 locations. Now we have 5 big locations with 15 different businesses. We sell everything from the foundation material to the rooftop. We've opened truss plants, door plants, installation services and garage doors, windows, exterior doors, interior trim. So we have a wide gamut that we supply, and we cover a footprint from south of Orlando to south of Tampa, north to Jacksonville, north to about Lake City, coast to coast. Our semi-trucks and stuff deliver every day. And I think we're now one of the largest independent building material dealers in the state. But one thing that differentiates from other companies is that we do the hard things that other people don't want to do. Plus, we focus on what we do, structural building materials. We're not into decor, electrical, plumbing. We focus on the envelope of the house and getting it together. So it's been a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your hands in a lot of cookie jars over there, a lot of aspects of the construction industry. And I think it was great that you said, I mean, you've got 15 different businesses and you guys aren't just stopping, like you're taking care of the industry. And I know that one of the challenges that we've talked about too is this kind of growth. Not only do we deal with some of the challenges of just building and everything else, but one of the big ones is labor. And I know you're really passionate about the next generation and helping out the communities so that we can continue to get people involved in the trades. I mean, you're not just supplying stuff, like you're actually building it with the truss plants and everything else. So you've got craft workers on staff over there as well. So this isn't something that's foreign to you. Tell me a little bit, what are you guys doing over at RoMac and it comes to solving this labor crisis? And training up the next generation of employees?
Well, the first thing we do is we believe heavily in promoting up in the end. I have managers that have been with me for 20, 25 years, and they're running locations and departments and stuff. And for example, many of them started as installers. They started as warehouse people and salespeople. And what we've uniquely done over the last 20, 25 years, we've tried to identify the talent within our group and develop that talent. We use a integrity sales and coaching program that I was introduced 30 years ago, and we really like it, and we bring people through that program. But more importantly, we give people opportunities. Our business a lot of the construction industry is so unique and it's such a niche that you have to, in other words, you can hire someone straight out of college, but they're still going to have to go through that 2 or 3 year process of learning and understanding everything. And we've been uniquely focused on identifying those people with the mental acuity who are willing to work hard to come up through the organization. The other thing we've done the last 6 or 7 years, we've worked hard with our local high school academies. There's 2 academies that have started locally. The Villages Charter High School restarted their construction academy probably 7 years ago, started with 15 kids, and we've worked with them and tried to assist them, and now they're up to 55 kids, and they're in the construction management program. And Leesburg High School, which is in the town of our flagship location, Leesburg had a high school that, I hate to use the word failing, but it was struggling mightily. Let's put it like that. Well, they said, let's get the construction academy going. So when we started that, and I've been head of their advisory board for the last 6, 7 years, started with 35 students and not much in the shop. We were able to get the business people of our community to get a grant from the state of Florida of almost $1 million to actually fund and get the things in the academy. We were also able to develop public-private partnerships between the city of Leesburg, Habitat for Humanity, and the school district. And what we started doing was say, hey, let's do something good. We're going to build habitat houses with these students. And the city of Leesburg donated lots. And then RoMac has provided the media to promote the program. We've really worked hard promoting the program, making these students superstars. In fact, these students now are just about as recognizable, or maybe more so than any football player. And that academy's gone from 35 students. We now have over 275 students. They're great kids. They're great craftsmen. We've hired many of the students. In fact, we're trying to get a CAD program up here to help staff our home design center and our trust design center. So it's been a win-win for everybody. But to me, Ryan, I think what's becoming more evident to students is 10 or 15 years ago, it was all technology, and those fields associated. And I think the realization is those fields are eating its own. Those jobs are going away, and we're seeing that kids are saying, okay, how am I going to earn a good living? And they're finding out through construction-related technology in this field, you can earn a great living. You're going to become a doer. You're going to be able to provide for you and your family and do things around your house. So I've really seen a massive change in the young people. And I'm going to just tell you, the dynamics of this school has totally changed. It's now become a great school, and kids are feeling good about things, and all those problems seem to have disappeared. So we've done a little good with that. But I like the progress and like what's happening with the labor force.
No, I think that's great. You know, I hear you talking about that, and I've met with a lot of industry leaders who have struggled with partnerships with local schools, or who have been a little, I guess, for lack of a better word, intimidated by just the amount of effort that they're going to have to put in to start these relationships or find a good one. Do you have any thoughts, any tips or anything that you've learned along the way that you can share with our listeners about getting involved with the local schools so that we can get that next generation exposed to this industry?
You know what my role has been, to be honest with you, Ron? I have been the bridge between the school district and public-private partnerships, as well as the city. And the problem is education is so eat up with bureaucracy right now that they stumble on themselves. It's still a struggle for me to push them down the line. But when you have a school that really wants to do something, someone has to become that bridge. Because if an individual goes over there themselves and says, hey, I want to work on something together, you're probably going to get resistance, because educators are like a lot of people in our business. They're resistant to change. And, that's one thing about our company. The worst thing you can ever say to Don Magruder is, we did it this way 20 years ago. I tell our people all the time, how we did it a year ago, it's immaterial today because it's constantly changing. But because we've provided that bridge, and I've learned about education, they've learned about private business. I've pushed education this way. Education's pushed us. We're starting to talk better, but someone has to translate all this. And yes, it's sometimes a hard pull, but what we do is every month we have a meeting every month, and I set the agenda, and we follow up on things, and we have action items, and we hold ourselves and the city and the school, everybody accountable. But everyone understands the greater purpose, and the number one purpose is getting kids good jobs. Because if we don't bridge that gap, you're going to have so many kids fall through the cracks and never realize what they can be. And, it's amazing to me. We had a young lady who was a cheerleader who was in their program. She actually won a home design contest, did it on her own, designed an affordable house that next year we're going to put the new Habitat subdivision that the city of Leesburg donated for us. So I'm very excited about possibilities. Anything's possible if you're willing to put the time in.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the things that I think holds some people back from doing this, is just the amount of time and effort. But I love what you said about being that bridge and just understanding that when you go in, you will meet resistance, but just keep at it. And one of the things that I'm already sensing from you in just the 15 or so minutes we've been talking is that you have a heart for this and a passion for it. And I can hear that come through. And, if we're not passionate about that next generation and training them up and exposing them to these opportunities, we're going to miss out.
Well, Ryan, I was raised up in dirt poor North Mississippi, and I don't want to get too deep in, but my mother was a cotton mill worker. My daddy was a house painter, and we had 6 kids in a 2-bedroom house. And I think sometimes people forget, they truly forget, that there's a lot of kids who are born in tough economic situations or tough family situations that they want to excel. And let me tell you something, the older I get, when you find that person that wants to excel, wants to better their life, that's worth more than any college degree, worth more than anything. That desire and want to become better, that you find somebody with that, they can achieve anything. All you literally have to do is give them a clear path.
Yeah. Wow. I love this. And I love that you're doing so much there locally. You're not worried about spreading too thin or getting out and saying, hey, we're going to solve this problem everywhere. If you can just solve that there for, what'd you say, like 300 kids? I mean, that changes families' trees. I mean, that's huge for them. I want to go back to something you said early on. You had talked about promoting up and promoting from within. And you had mentioned that you have some integrity training that you do, some sales training. You have some ways of really equipping your people to be capable of being promoted. You're investing in them. Can you talk a little bit more about what you guys are doing over at RoMac about that, how you're investing in your people and making sure that they're ready to take on that next step in their career when you're ready for them?
Well, the first thing we do, we have a clear mission statement and core values that we echo continuously to our employees. When we hire someone, I go to every employee orientation. I talk to all our employees for a minimum of an hour, and we make sure that they understand what our core values and our direction is. A lot of companies, they'll assign that to someone who doesn't have the passion. I think it's real important that you preach the gospel so everyone understands it. The next thing, we have a training manager, and to be honest, we've had a training manager now for just a couple of years. We like a lot of companies, we would ad hoc it to our, but we focus more on training. We do integrity sales coaching, integrity sales training. The other thing we've embraced is the lean program, the Kaizen method. And there's a book called The 3-Second Lean that we've embraced, where we tell people we want them to work smarter instead of harder. And the other thing we insist on, eliminate all issues as far as wasted time. We don't like wasted time, wasted effort, wasted inventory. Get the waste out. And then the other thing we do, and we speak this gospel, the number one problem in the construction industry today, bar none, is incompetency as far as building and ordering material. And what we do, we preach the double check message. If you do something, a special order or a job for somebody, we want you to thoroughly double check your work. And if anybody in this company finds a mistake before it leaves this yard, we give them a little wooden token that's worth $5. And they can use that wooden token at our grab and go, which is a low-cost place. We found out people are having food insecurity, a low-cost place to have lunch or breakfast, or they can turn it into their payables, get $5 bills, they can collect them. And we don't care how small or big the mistake is. But in my view, the people who want to excel in this industry, if you truly focus on learning your business and eliminate mistakes, that's the number one thing to excel in. The industry is so decimated with incompetencies and mistakes, and I hate to use that term, but and builders listening to me, if they hear this, they know it. They're hiring people who are not up to the job and they're making serious mistakes. And I think a focus on eliminating these mistakes is key to your success, but more important, it's key to people growing in this industry and making more money, because people are desperately looking for folks who can do their job and eliminate mistakes. No one's perfect. We're not looking for perfect. We just want to do better every day.
No, I love that. Yeah, that's one of the things that we run into all the time, helping with filling frontline positions, is that you never know where some of these guys or gals have come from. You never know if someone else invested in them, taught them some of the things you're talking about, like double checking your work and thinking through the process. And so we actually do really structured onboarding programs to make sure that, hey, we're getting everybody up to speed. We're making sure that we're spending time with everybody the same way, so that they are someone we want to promote later if they want it, or they are someone that we're willing to say, hey, we're going to trust you with this. We're going to equip you with the tools that you need to succeed in your role. And I love that you guys are doing that there and really just investing in these people.
Ryan, I think it goes back to, I'm sort of like the old Godfather, respect. I firmly believe in respect at all levels. And I think the mistake a lot of companies make, Ryan, is they hire someone. For example, I think about a guy who ran our window department in Leesburg. Hired him as a installer 25 years ago. And we respected his work. We when he came in, we gave him the respect. When he came to us and we could tell he's a little different. We provided him the opportunity to advance. But the people that have advanced to our leadership levels and other levels, they got the same respect when they came in the door as they do today in their position. And I think our industry, especially years ago, but even so, and it still continues today, there's a disrespect of that low-level worker, and you don't realize that one of these days that guy could be your next leader, but more importantly, he could be your next customer. But take all that away, in my view, it's the right thing to do. The construction industry needs to understand being nice and respectful is not a character flaw or show signs that you're not tough. Being nice and respectful is a way to live and to grow a team. And I've always believed that, and that's what type of team we've built. There's no extra points for being ugly. Even in difficult situations, and in construction, you're going to have it. But be respectful and nice, and you still get the same job done.
Yeah, you can still lead sternly. You can still hold people accountable to the rules. And, we talk about this a lot in the safety and the mental health side of this industry right now, it's that sometimes we need to be a little bit more of that parental figure, but we need to do it in a way, like you're saying, that's respectful, a way that lets the people know, hey, we actually care about you and your success. You're not just a set of hands. You're not just a cog in the machine. I'm not just going to replace you the first time things get tough, but we have to know that you're hearing us, that you're improving, that you're making things better, not just for the company and the work that we do, but also for yourselves, and really investing in,
But
in your own.
Ryan, I think the biggest thing a lot of our construction friends don't understand, supply friends, and I would dare say half or so of the builders I deal with, they don't understand this. They're old school, or they've got people. A lot of times you got people who don't know what they're doing, young to the industry, they're disrespect. But the difference in my company and that doesn't have respect is when you respect someone and you really give them you respect what they're saying, you're nice to them, they're going to protect you. They're going to protect you when a mistake happens. They're going to protect you if something goes wrong. If they see something about to happen, they're going to stop it. And I go to job sites and you will see something built wrong, or you will see an obvious mistake on a plan the framer should have caught. But because they were disrespectful to that framer, electrician, or plumber, I've literally gone to houses and builders who were mean to their folks and disrespectful. The drywall was like this, and rather than the drywall person saying, hey, you should have shimmed this up, or we need to do this, they let it go through because that wasn't my job. And, this cat, we know what type of guy he is. So where you think you're getting more done, you're actually not, because if you get known as one of these guys who's always blowing up, causing a scene, throwing things around, disrespecting people, they're going to sabotage you every chance they can. And a lot of times the sabotage is just by looking the other way. Oh, I see a mistake, but screw him. I'm going to let it go through.
Yeah.
A lot of that is happening in this industry. So
Yeah. And
I don't know. I just think it's something people need to take heart.
yeah, I think a lot of what we teach is just really just to, like you said, respect. I say care. I mean, it's just really care about these guys and some of the stuff they're going. Everybody wants these employees to care about the company, to care about success with the company, but I tell people all the time, they're not going to care about the company if they don't think you care about them. If you don't show them respect,
Absolutely.
if you don't show them that you're there to support them when life happens, and life happens a lot, they're going to look the other way when there's a problem at the business. They're going to look the other way when they see an issue, because they just don't care, because they're not being cared for.
Well, Ryan, I tell our guys all the time, when folks have a life emergency, a death in the family, or a baby born, or something tragic in their life, and you can't show empathy, they will hate you for the rest of their life. And the other thing that aggravates me about this industry, and I could easily say this, there's this notion, well, I pulled myself up by the bootstraps. Everybody can pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And, oh, it was tougher back then. Two things. Number one, everybody's not in the same economic, social, and family situation to do that. And the other thing about back then, and I've said this many, many times, when I came up through the ranks, I made a vow I would never treat people the way I was treated coming up, and if I ever got in a position of authority. And I've tried to live that, because, back in the 70s and 80s, everyone talks about that grand old age. That wasn't a grand old age. Women were disrespected. People wasn't valued for the work they were done. They were used and abused and stuff. So, I just think people need to be more cognizant of the life we're in, because your hope is to build teams that will, I think what we have here, they're going to take care of business without being handheld. And that's the type of team we have here.
Yeah. No, I love it. You're everything that you just said, I agree with you 100% on. The world's different. You never know someone's situation. You never know where they came from. And, for lack of a better word, just love on your people. I mean, care for them, love on them, let them know that you're there for them, and that that when life happens, that they'll still have a job to come back to. They're not going to be punished because life happened, because life is going to happen to everybody all the time.
Oh, yeah. And, I'm not going to get political, but, a lot of people call this woke thing or what they like to. I hope that I have evolved from 40 years ago to today. And I feel like I'm not the same guy. 40 years ago, I wasn't a good manager, and times were different. And I've evolved in my thought processes and tried to improve myself. And you can call it woke or enlightening. I don't care what but I think it's good that people advance and change, because how we did it 40 years ago wasn't what's worse. And the technology today gives us so many advantages. In fact, I look at the students who are getting out of Leesburg High School in Florida. Man, these kids are great. They are bright and they're good. And this nonsense about this new generation not in the work, I totally dismiss this. They're just looking for an opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. Don, thank you so much for being on the show today. So many great things to think about. It's not every day that we get really deep on some of the subjects and some of the things that are happening inside the industry. And I feel like you really brought that today. Some great insight as to what you guys are doing over at RoMac, and maybe even some ways that some of our listeners can start embracing this idea of getting more involved in the community, supporting that next generation through the schools. Thank you so much for being on the show, Don.
Well, it was a pleasure, and thank you.
Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.